Are these all the slides that we have already corrected
It's
previously?
it's all corrected version.
Okay. So we have no correcting today. Is it only pronunciation practice?
Yes, please.
Okay. Hmm. Did you get a chance to practice? Oh, there we go. Yeah, the red. All right. Good, good. That's exactly what I hoped for. Yep. Okay. This part's easy.
Yes, I think no.
This is the easy part. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak today.
I will be talking about the relationship between antero-posterior center of gravity position,
I'll be talking about the relationship between antero-posterior center of gravity position.
posterior,
Posterior.
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 No, it's not or, it's just er.
Oh,
For example, doctor, teacher. Can you spell doctor?
DOT. Doctor.
D-O-C.
OR.
D-O-C. One more time. Please spell doctor.
DOCTOR.
Yes. Can you spell teacher?
DEACHER.
Yeah, it's A, not okay.
A.
But teacher is ER
Mm,
and doctor is OR.
yes.
The sound is no difference. Teacher,
Mm,
doctor,
mm.
OR, ER, there's no difference. So posterior.
Posterior.
No, it's not or. The O has no sound.
Posterior.
Yes, that's better.
Mm.
Posterior. Center of gravity position.
Center of gravity position.
And gait speed in individuals with unilateral transtibial amputation.
And gait speed in individuals with unilateral transtibial amputation.
Okay. Not so easy.
Yes.
Not so easy, but no red marks. So Google likes you.
Yes.
Yeah, and I like you too. So pretty good. I guess what's the takeaway? The takeaway, I think Japanese say point, right? Would be OR, ER, same sound. Like we have the center, right?
Center.
Center, ER, doctor, OR, teacher, ER. The ER, OR ending is just
Mm.
Also, we have RE, welfare. It's not welfare, right? So we have many RE, RE, OR. It's just the R sound. Okay.
Okay.
Questions?
No, I don't have question.
All right. Hmm. For individuals with lower limb amputation, mobility is essential to daily life.
For individuals with lower limb amputation, mobility is essential to daily life.
Higher mobility is linked to better quality of life.
Higher mobility is linked to better quality of life.
Let us just say quality of life. Okay. I'm thinking that when you say QOL, the AI may be getting confused.
Mhm.
And in your speech, you can say quality of life.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Higher mobility is linked to better quality of life.
Higher mobility is linked to better quality of life.
Good. It's pretty good. That might be why it was confused, because when you said QOL, maybe it was confused. So make a note, and when you try again, instead of QOL, don't abbreviate, just say quality of life, and we'll see if that turns green for you or turns black, whatever you call it. Okay. Including social participation and self-esteem.
Including social participation and self-esteem.
Mm. Previous studies have shown that gait speed reflects.
Previous,
One moment, one moment. Instead of our range, we want to say the range. The range of daily activities. Can you make that change?
okay.
Thank you. Previous studies have shown that gait speed reflects the range of daily activities,
Previous studies have shown that gait speed reflects the range of daily activities,
making it an important focus in prosthetic rehabilitation.
making it an important focus in prosthetic rehabilitation.
Any questions?
No.
Okay. A key factor in gait speed is the control of the center of gravity,
A key factor in gait speed is the control of the center of gravity,
which we call COG.
which we call COG.
The slide shows the inverted pendulum model.
The slide shows the inverted pendulum model.
Inverted pendulum model.
The inverted pendulum model.
Pendulum.
Pendulum.
Yeah, now notice we have two U's here. The first U is U, U,
U.
penju.
Penju.
The second U is
Or
lum,
lam.
pendulum,
Pendulum.
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 Mm. The inverted pendulum model.
The inverted pendulum model.
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 Yeah. Ma, mi, mu, me, mo, model.
Model.
Do you know okonomiyaki?
Yes.
Do you know modanyaki?
Modern yak. Yes.
Okay. The problem is it's modern yaki.
Mm,
It's not modern, it's modern.
modern yaki.
So this O has the ah sound, model,
Model.
modern.
Model.
Now be careful. Motel. Can you pronounce the word motel?
MOT.
Motel.
Motel.
Yeah, that's actually it's motel.
Motel.
Yeah, how about hotel?
Hotel.
Yeah. So sometimes O, sometimes ah. In this case, ah model. Model.
Model.
The inverted pendulum model.
The inverted pendulum model.
That's better. Maybe that's why. So if you pay attention there, maybe the AI will hear you better. Otherwise, it sounds good. Which helps visualize COG control.
which helps visualize COG control.
When step length increases, pendulum inclination also increases.
When step length increases, pendulum inclination also increases.
Pendulum inclination.
Pendulum inclination.
Hmm. Raising the potential to accelerate in late stance.
Raising the potential to accelerate in late stance.
Accelerate in late stance.
Accelerate in late stance.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Just, I think the takeaway is accelerate, late stance. So we go accelerate in late stance. Accelerate in late stance.
Accelerate in late stance.
Yeah, good. However, the COG position also matters.
However, the COG position also matters.
So we measured COG position in individuals with unilateral transtibial amputation.
So, we measured COG position in individuals with unilateral transtibial amputation.
Nice chat. Yusuke, you okay?
Yes.
All right. It has been reported that the position of the COG at initial contact
It has been reported that the position of the COG at initial contact
varies depending on the patient's condition.
varies depending on the patient's condition.
The patient's condition.
The patient's condition.
For example, in cases with limited joint range of motion,
For example, in cases with limited joint range of motion
or pain in the residual limb,
or pain in the residual limb,
the COG remains posterior as shown in the figure on the left.
the COG remains posterior as shown in the figure on the left.
Posterior.
Posterior.
Yes, exactly. The O has no sound. It's posterior.
Posterior.
That's much better. Posterior. Yes. On the other hand, when the hip and knee extensors are weak,
On the other hand, when the hip and knee extensors are weak,
hip,
hip,
it, e, hip and knee.
hip and knee,
Good. Very good. Patients lean their trunks forward.
patients lean their trunks forward.
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 Now, this OR is or. Forward.
Forward.
But this A has no sound. It's the R. It's forward, not forward. Just forward. Forward.
Forward.
Yeah, and this is kind of tricky with English. Sometimes the vowel before makes the sound. Sometimes the vowel before does not make the sound. Forward.
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 That's pretty good. It's better. Yeah. R, that's difficult. R sound. So COG position is an important factor
So, COG position is an important factor
for understanding individual gate strategies.
for understanding individual gate strategies.
COG.
C,
C.
C,
Yes.
COG.
Do you know she sells seashells by the
Ah,
seashore? Yeah.
yes. I learned
So,
in junior high school.
yeah, okay, but Japanese makes some Japanese is special. I could never understand. Why is it sa she? Why isn't it sa si? Right?
Mm.
Because in English we could say sa si su say so and sha shi shu she sho because s and sh are separate sounds. In
Mm.
this case, C.
C,
Very good. COG position.
COG,
Position.
position,
Position.
position,
Position.
position.
Yeah, this O has no sound.
Mm.
Challenging. Residual limb.
Residual limb.
Extensors are weak.
Extensors are weak.
Residual
Residual
weak.
weak.
Okay. Questions?
No, I don't have question.
All right. Good work. Good work. Mm. In this study, with step link set as 100%,
In this study, with step length set at 100%,
we define the anterior posterior position of the COG
we define the anterior posterior position of the COG.
anterior
Anterior
posterior
posterior
at initial contact as the COG sub AC. I'm sorry. At initial contact as the COG sub AP position.
at initial contact at the COG sub AP position.
A
A
AP.
AP.
Hmm. We then examined the relationship
We then examined the relationship
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 shinship shinship
relationship
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 Hmm. Between this COG sub AP position
between this COG sub AP position
AP
AP
and gate speed.
and gate speed.
Very good. Gate A.
Gate A.
Gate speed AP.
Gate speed AP.
Much better. Examined.
Examined.
That's pretty good. Sounds good to me.
Mm.
Yusuke, any questions?
No, I don't have question.
Okay, step by step. Hmm. The purpose of our study was to clarify the relationship
The purpose of our study was to clarify the relationship
between the COG sub AP position
between the COG sub AP position
and gait speed in individuals with unilateral transtibial amputation.
and gait speed in individuals with unilateral transtibial amputation.
Our hypothesis is the more posterior the COG sub AP position,
Our hypothesis is the more posterior the COG sub AP position.
posterior,
Posterior,
the faster the gait speed.
the faster the gait speed.
Cis is you are aware that sometimes S is S and sometimes S is Z. You know this?
Cis is the
Sometimes S, sometimes Z.
mm,
Hypothesis
hypothesis
is
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 z.
yeah, hypothesis is
Hypothesis is
oh, that's a hard one. In English, 動物園
z.
yeah. The first time I heard Japanese people say zoo, I'm like, no, it's a zoo.
Z.
Yeah, the for Japanese people is a momentary sound,
Mm,
but for English people's is a
mm,
continuous sound, like a zipper, like when you're zipping up your jacket, like your YKK zipper is is
is
difficult. The zoo is fun.
the z is fun.
Okay. Hypothesis is.
Hypothesis is
That's not
z.
bad. That's not bad, but z,
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 z.
ah. So you're making the z at the beginning, but then it's dying and it's turning into an S. I don't have a problem with your hypothesis,
Mm,
but is
is
ah difficult.
yes,
Continue to practice.
yes.
Okay. In many cases, English S or English S Z.
Mm,
For example, speed,
mm.
speed,
Speed,
individuals.
individuals.
yeah, yeah. Keep. Make a note. Make a note of that one. Okay. Questions here.
No,
Okay. Good. The participants were 16 individuals
the participants are 16 individuals
with unilateral transtibial amputation.
with unilateral transtibial amputation.
Good, very good. Um, Yusuke, please don't feel bad.
Pardon.
Most Japanese students have the same weaknesses. It's because your training, all of your language training began when you were just a baby.
Mm,
And it didn't English your English didn't begin until you're much older. And so the Japanese general, I call it the Zenkoku Mondai.
Mm.
All Japanese people have these same weaknesses. It's a matter of practice. The participants were 16 individuals
The participants were 16 individuals
with unilateral transtibial amputation.
with unilateral transtibial amputation.
N-
Amputation.
okay. None of whom had problems with their residual limbs or socket fit.
None of whom had problems with their residual limbs or socket fit.
None, none of whom.
None,
None of whom.
none of whom.
Yeah. So here we have uh, uh, ooh. Three O's, two sounds. Ooh. None of whom.
None of whom.
Participants.
Participants.
Individuals.
Individuals.
Z. Okay.
Individuals.
Better, better, getting better. Good practice. Questions?
No, I don't have question.
Mm. We collected normal gait data using a 3D motion capture system.
We collected normal gait data using a 3D motion capture system
With 65 markers placed over the body.
with 65 markers placed over the body.
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 Modern.
Modern.
Mm. What was the other ma? I know Modon Yaki. What was the other ma? Now I forgot. Model.
Model.
Yeah. Model body.
Model body.
Model body. Model body.
Model body.
Mm. 65 markers placed over the body.
With 65 markers placed over the body.
We calculated gait speed and the COG sub AP position
We calculated gait speed and the COG sub AP position
and analyzed their relationship using Pearson's correlation coefficient.
and analyzed their relationship using Pearson's correlation coefficient.
Pearson's
Pearson's
correlation
correlation
coefficient.
coefficient
Coefficient. Coefficient.
coefficient
Okay. Pearson's correlation coefficient.
Pearson's correlation coefficient.
That's pretty good. I'm surprised it turned red on you, but keep trying.
Yes.
Okay. Oe. That oe should not be hard for Japanese people. There's a lot of oe, like noe
Oe.
hanshi, noe ekimae, right?
Mm.
That's not so hard. Why would that be a problem? Maybe the coefficient.
Coefficient.
Okay. Sounds pretty good. I would hope that. I wonder when you said Pearson's correlation coefficient, what did the Google think? Was it telling you to order a pizza? I wonder.
Pearson's correlation.
Yeah, I wonder what results you were getting.
うん。
Just nonsense, just strange answers.
うん。
Yeah.
Google Translate never hear my pronunciation.
Yeah. Okay. Keep trying.
Yes.
Remember, it's just a machine and it's just a study tool. Don't take it personally. If I tell you it sounds good, please believe me. I would now like to talk about our results in two parts.
I would now like to talk about our results in two parts.
Firstly, the COG sub AP position itself at initial contact.
Firstly, the COG sub AP position itself at initial contact.
Secondly, its relationship with gate speed.
Secondly, its relationship with gate speed.
Starting with the first,
Starting with the first.
oh, here we go with the three dots. Yeah. Should be just three periods. They should be down low. I don't know why that happened, but these are your notes. It's not no problem with the slide. The slide looks good. Just remember either one dot or three dots, never two, never four. Any questions?
No, I don't have
Okay,
question.
good, 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 good. Scatter.
Scatter.
Yeah, green, blue, orange. Intact, control, prosthetic. You know what I would like to see? Maybe you don't need this for your data, but um, the blue and yellow and or the blue and orange have are in pairs, right?
Yes,
Every,
bilateral.
yeah, no, yes, it's bilateral. But patient one, patient two, patient three, each patient has one blue and one orange. Is that correct?
Yes.
I would like to see a bar connecting the data. Do you understand my point?
Uh, the bar means point and between point and point.
Yeah, for example, the prosthetic side patient and the intact side of that patient having a little line connecting the two.
うん。
I don't know if that would give you information. Maybe you want to make it a dotted line, but I think that would be an interesting. I wonder if they pair up or if they're very desperate. It would be an interesting visualization.
Yes.
Yeah, you might try that.
Yes, I will try it.
Yeah, if it's easy, if it's not too difficult. You have all of the original data, is that correct? Okay. Yeah, I'd like to see that. We obtained interesting results.
We obtained interesting
Results.
results.
The COG sub AP position
The COG sub AP position
was located toward the leading limb in all three conditions.
was located towards the leading limb in all three conditions.
The three conditions were initial contact on the prosthetic side,
The three conditions were initial contact on the prosthetic side,
prosthetic
prosthetic
on the intact side,
on the intact side,
and for the able bodied control group.
and for the able-bodied control group.
Able bodied.
Able-bodied.
That's pretty good. Yusuke, I have a question for you. How often do you practice speaking English?
this slide.
Well, every day, 3 times a week, once a week only.
Uh, once a day.
Oh, every day.
Yeah,
I'm so
just
happy.
just one.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It is like physical exercise. It is like a rehabilitation. A lot of many few sessions are better than few long sessions. Do you understand? You're a rehabilitation specialist, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, and of course you would agree that working with the patient many times a week for short sessions
Mm.
is better than one long session once a week. Would
Uh,
you would you agree with that?
sh short and many times.
Is better than
Yeah.
few and long. Yeah. For a number of reasons. If you're rehabilitating or exercising to a state of tiredness and pain, it's diminishing returns. We call that diminishing returns. But then again, if you're revisiting very often on a daily or every other day basis, I think the results are are uh, are better. I think the results are better. It's the same with speaking training. It's the same. Okay. Questions here.
No, I don't have question.
Okay. She sells seashells by the seashore. Here is where I'm wondering, like, is this patient the same as this patient or not?
Uh,
Yeah. I
maybe
would really like to see, like a number. You could also put a number.
yes.
Yeah. So you could correlate.
Mm.
Now, here, putting bars to connect them would be confusing, but in the scatter plot, it might be useful. Yeah. Like is this patient here the same as this one or not? It's very mysterious to me.
Yes.
Um, some patients look have a more normal gait than others. Some patients are very asymmetrical, and some patients are more symmetrical. So I'd like to see that. As for the relationship between the COG sub AP position
As for the relationship between the COG sub AP position
and gait speed,
and gate speed
in the scatter plot here,
in the scatter plot here,
oh, these are scatter plots. We need an S.
plots.
Yeah, can you make a note there? Thank you.
Yes.
In the scatter plots here,
In the scatter plots here,
the x axis is gait speed,
the x-axis is gate speed,
and the y axis is COG sub AP position.
and the y-axis is COG sub AP position.
The left shows the prosthetic side,
The left shows the
prosthetic,
prosthetic side,
and the right, the intact side.
the right, the intact side.
We performed a correlation analysis.
We performed a correlation analysis.
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 Prosthetic.
Prosthetic.
Banana.
Banana.
Hmm. No, and as a result,
And as a result,
no significant correlation was found.
no significant correlation was found.
Correlation.
correlation,
Correlation.
correlation.
Hmm. Questions?
No.
Okay. Oh, look at the red. Let's move on to the discussion.
Let's move on to the discussion.
The COG sub AP position was always located toward the leading limb on both sides.
The COG sub AP position was always located toward the leading limb on both sides.
Toward.
Toward,
No, it's not toward, it's toward.
toward.
Very good. Prosthetic gait is characterized by a lack of propulsive force.
Prosthetic gait is characterized by a lack of propulsive force.
Propulsive.
Propulsive force.
So a left-right difference would be expected.
So a left-right difference would be expected.
However, the COG sub AP position was similar on both sides.
However, the COG sub AP position was similar on both sides,
suggesting that its position is not involved in forward propulsion.
suggesting that its position is not involved in forward propulsion. Propulsion.
So, what does the COG sub AP position contribute to?
So what does the COG sub AP position contribute to?
Since it relates to the base of support,
Since it relates to the base of support,
base,
base,
it may contribute to gait stability.
it may contribute to gait stability.
Contribute.
Contribute.
To evaluate stability,
To evaluate stability.
stability,
Stability.
we also need to consider the gait speed and COG position.
We also need to consider gait speed and COG position.
Toward,
Toward.
propulsive,
Propulsive.
involved,
Involved.
forward propulsion,
Forward propulsion.
contribute to.
Contribute to.
Yeah. British English contribute, American English contribute. Contribute.
Contribute.
Yep. Questions?
No.
Okay. Yusuke, you're sounding good.
Thank you.
Yep. Oops. Finally, let me summarize.
Finally, let me summarize.
The COG sub AP position
The COG sub AP position
was located toward the leading limb in all participants.
was located towards the leading limb in all participants,
And no correlation with gait speed was found.
and no correlation with gait speed was found.
This suggests it may contribute to gait stability.
This suggests it may contribute to gait stability
rather than forward propulsion.
rather than forward propulsion.
Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for your attention.
Your attention.
Your attention.
Your attention. Your attention.
Your attention.
Okay. I'll make a little note here. Have we talked about noun, verb, adjective? Have we talked about this yet? No? Is this your first time? Yusuke, are you there? Hello?
Yes,
Okay.
we
All right.
we
All right.
talked about different
We did. Okay. So just to review then, contribute,
contribute,
noun, verb, or adjective.
but
Exactly. Verb, contribute. Contribute.
contribute,
In fact, so in when we have syllables, we rank them strongest to weakest.
contribute,
Sorry. In this case, contribute.
contribute.
You see the hard accent here, the minor accent here, and then no accent here.
Mm.
Yeah, okay. Do you know the noun?
Con, sorry, I don't know.
I think
Contribute,
it's kihu. お願いします。Contribution.
contribution,
Mm. How about the adjective? Any guess?
con, contribute,
Many times we take the verb and we add ed or ing to make an
mhm,
adjective. Hmm. Contributing,
contributing,
contributed.
contributed.
Hmm. Do you have a question here?
No,
Okay. Contribution,
contribution,
contribute,
contribute,
contributing,
contributing,
contributed.
contributed.
Okay. I think I said that. Yep. All right.
Thank you. I received it.
All right. Okay, good work.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit. We have about 5 or 6 minutes
Yeah.
left. Let's talk a little bit about other ways to study English. Do you watch YouTube
Yes, sometimes I watch
in English?
Japanese.
Okay. Maybe you want to find an entertaining YouTube channel.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
What you do you work very hard, and this is a very scientific paper. If uh, if your practice becomes painful, the mind forgets. If your practice is and your brain is going to shut down and there's no memory.
うん。
But if it's entertaining, I think you know Fumiya, right?
うん。Yes.
Fumiya like Sesame Street. I fully agree with that.
うん。
But everybody's different. Everybody enjoys different kinds of media. Um, what you enjoy helps you.
Yeah.
When I first came to Japan, um, I I understand the power of music and
うん。
how listening to music can help you enjoy a language. And I do recommend music to students if they like popular music, American music, British music. So when I came to Japan, I started listening to Japanese music,
うん。
Mr. Children
Yeah.
and Spitz, and I didn't like it. So I did not listen to Japanese music. So I felt really bad. I did watch television shows.
うん。
Mirai Shonen Conan,
うん。
right? Abarembo Shogun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I started riding motorcycles and I made friends with the motorcycle riding club.
うん。
Have you ever, the Hashiriya
Yeah.
Oji-san, right? These people are not English study type people.
うん。
Most of the other people I would meet, oh, I want to speak English. I want a gaijin friend. I can speak English. So I had no chance to speak Japanese with
うん。
people. But when I met the motorcycle riders, they're not the study English type people.
Yeah.
So that really helped me improve my
うん。
Japanese.
Yeah.
So I found a fun way to get involved. What about like Netflix? Do you watch TV dramas or anything like that?
Just TV.
Oh, normal television.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, I know you're probably a busy person, probably too busy for Netflix,
うん。
but YouTube, it's cheaper.
うん。
I have YouTube Premium
うん。
because I don't want the advertising. The advertising's in Japanese and it's all this katakana English. And so I very quickly started purchasing. I bought the YouTube Premium. So I could get away from katakana advertising. Small provider. I'm like, oh, terrible, bad. Yeah, if you could go on YouTube and find some interesting channels where you get to listen to English, something you find interesting, maybe something to do with one of your hobbies, or maybe there are English YouTube channels about rehabilitation and prosthetics.
うん。
That might be interesting. Yeah. Uh, spend a little time. You might find something interesting, and maybe let me know next week if you find something. YouTube's such a great resource.
うん。
It's so cheap, or it's free if you're not paying. And there's the variety. And the English speaking world, I think, is the majority of YouTube channels are in English. There might be, I have to be careful because India has a lot of people. China doesn't use YouTube or Google, but in India it's really big. And sometimes when I'm looking for help with the Windows, I'm like, I have a problem with my Windows, with my computer. Some Indian guy has a channel, and I'm like, what? I can't understand his English, or if he's even speaking English. But I think English is the majority, so you might be able to find some interesting YouTube channels. Um, maybe bring that into your English study. Keep it interesting, keep it entertaining, because this topic is kind of I don't want to say boring, but it can you can get tired, and then when your brain gets tired, you stop learning. So maybe it's Sesame Street. All right, Yusuke, do you have questions?
No, I don't have question.
All right, that's good exercise. Go through, see if you can eliminate some red parts
Yeah.
and find the ones that stay and share those again next week.
Yes.
Okay, anything else?
No.
If you do, just send me a message.
Okay.
I'll see you next week. Take care.
Thank you very much
All
for
right.
lessons.
Good night.
Good night.